Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this Rolex certified pre-owned watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability details. Today we are discussing a Rolex certified pre-owned vintage Oysterquartz Day-Date reference 19019 in white gold with original tritium dial and hands. This is an extraordinary survivor, roughly 7 million serial, so approximately 1982. A fantastic example of one of the rarest and most exquisitely engineered Rolex watches of modern times. Of course, the timepiece is part of the Rolex certified pre-owned program. What makes Rolex certified pre-owned different from, say, Mercedes or BMW? We'll talk about watches in a moment, but you can't go to a certified pre-owned BMW dealer lot and find a 1959 507 Roadster. Likewise, you can't head to a certified pre-owned Mercedes lot and find a W198 300SL. But the cool thing about Rolex certified pre-owned is that watches dating back to the 50s and even the 60s can receive the same certified pre-owned protection that you would get on a 3-year-old Explorer 2. So this watch comes with a 2-year globally valid Rolex-backed warranty. It has been authenticated by Rolex. All refinishing, parts, and service, if necessary, have been provided by Rolex and its certified watchmakers. And then the timepiece comes with an entire suite of additional items. So if the original retail articles are still with the watch, you'll get those with CPO, but you'll also get more. You'll get the certified pre-owned box. You'll get the certified pre-owned warranty card, which features the serial number and the reference. It's globally valid. Take it to any Rolex point of sales and service for action. You can see that there's a little manual underneath it that is details of how to care your watch, feed your watch, clean your watch, live with your watch. It also features the service network should you need to leverage that. A little bit of information about Rolex.com and the CPO program itself. We've got a warranty manual that details the precise terms of the warranty. There's a little leatherette wallet for some of these cards and manuals. And then under that, you can see there's a little leatherette travel pouch that's suede on the inside for traveling with your certified pre-owned watch. So you've got all that going on. Now let's jump back. By the way, one last cool detail. This is the certified pre-owned hang tag, which you can see is holographic and thus very cool. The watch, the Oysterquartz Day-Date, along with the Oysterquartz Datejust, debuted back in 1976, and it is fair to say that this was the most over-engineered Rolex movement of the 1970s. Caliber 50-55, 11 jewels. It has a traditional Swiss lever escapement to precisely index and lock the seconds hand. It features a 2 to 3 year power reserve on modern batteries, and it's a very rare COSC certified Swiss quartz chronometer, accurate to between 40 and 60 seconds a year. It features a single quick set for the date, hacking seconds for the seconds hand. It is thermocompensated, so unlike most quartz movements, which cannot compensate for changes in temperature, this one can. And because it was designed to last generations of human beings, it features a quartz trimmer, so the watchmaker at Rolex can adjust for natural quartz crystal drift over time. Again, this is a luxury quartz movement that was designed to go the distance in the watch. All versions of Oysterquartz, Datejust and Day-Date, were made in about 25,000 pieces between 1977 and, depending on who you ask, 2001, 2002, or 2003. The point, though, is that over a quarter century, you had about 25,000 pieces made, of which most were the steel and steel gold Datejust Oysterquartz. A full white gold Day-Date is extraordinarily rare, even by the standards of this extraordinarily rare family. In terms of how it wears, it has a unique integrated bracelet case that's very much of the 70s. This was of the same era as Girard-Perregaux, Audemars Piguet, Patek, and Vacheron getting into the integrated bracelet sports watch space. 36 millimeters on paper. You can see it wears larger than that on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. In terms of thickness, probably not as thick as you think, 12.4 millimeters thick, and then lug-to-lug, if you're just measuring the case, 42.3 across the wrist. If you measure the bracelet end lengths, the rigid distance across the wrist is 44.1, still very wearable. Suitable for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. The down the barrel and the over the top really reveal just how compact this watch is, and yes, it will fit underneath the dress cuff. Because the bracelet is unique to the model, it is perfectly integrated with the sweep and the taper of the lugs. And because, again, it is integrated, you can see that we have the try to show this to best effect. We have the reference as well as the serial number under the lugs rather than between the lugs as they would be on a conventional Rolex watch. Screw-down crown. It was over 50 meters water resistant in its day. I do not recommend testing that theory today. It is a quite old vintage watch. Nevertheless, the watch features a remarkably intact bracelet. As you can see, the bevels, the break between satin and polish, the volume, and the shape of the links, all outstanding. Removable links fixed by screws. You can see that on both sides of the clasp. You have quite a few removable links. Take a look at the clasp internal and how well it's preserved. We have a little clinching springs. This is a friction fit version of Rolex's crown clasp, where the crown is the only visible partition point between the two sides. Taking a look inside, you can see some of the details, including how deep and distinct all of the marks continue to be, even decades later. Rolling back to the case, you can see it's highly angular, with lateral satination across the case top and lug hoods. Then there's a bevel at each corner, and you can see that this one has a little bit of a mark in it. Rather than excessively removed material, we decided to refinish this responsibly through the Rolex Certified Pre-Owned program and leave the metal even if it means the dent is slightly expressed. Taking a case profile look, you can see it's beautifully glossy compared to the satin at the top. And then we have a fairly well preserved and quite sharp fluted white gold bezel. You can see the watch does feature sapphire boxed and cambered, and then the dial is a lovely metallic blue. If you look very closely, you can see underneath the hands there's some mark of contact at the center, but it's important to remember that this is an original factory tritium dial. So between removing the factory tritium dial and accepting a small amount of imperfection under the hands, we opted for the latter. The watch does feature a combination of white gold hands and indices, a day and a date. The date does feature a quick set function. It's not a double quick set, but it is a single quick set. You can see how the seconds hand jumps precisely every second, and that is because there is a Swiss lever escapement inside this watch. That's how Rolex chose to index the seconds hand. And this is a lifetime serviceable movement, not disposable consumer electronics. It's designed to last not just the lifetime of the owner, but the lifetime of the watch, which is many generations. A fantastic and super cool genuine tritium patina in one of the rarest and most sought vintage Rolex models of the second half of the 20th century, with collectors just beginning to catch on to how desirable and uncommon these are. The best is yet to come. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.